All right, welcome there, Janaki. Hare Krishna, Gauranga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You right there. Listen to the beautiful music. I'm gonna wash my face. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, what do we got here? Let's do this one here. Hare Krishna. Maybe I'll just stay on alone today. Make it simple. I don't want to be dealing with anything. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, let's read a little bit here.
Thanks for using.
You're welcome. Gotta praise the machine too sometimes. It's AI, you know. Okay, what do we got here? We got let's read from Srimad Bhagavatam here. Srimad Bhagavatam. I was hearing some nice verses when I was driving around. Let's see if I can find them again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Sri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay. This is Remembrance of Lord Krishna. Okay, let's see here, yeah. Remembrance of Lord Krishna. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhava was asked by Vidura to speak on the messages of the dearest Lord Krishna, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord. He was one who even in his childhood, at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it. Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old age that attitude of service never slackened. Okay? That's the beautiful thing about devotional service. It doesn't slacken. Everything else you get bored of. But this beautiful, wonderful, loving service to the Lord, it never gets old. That's why you got to make it beyond Vaidhi, beyond the rule, just following, just worshiping God, just according to the rules and regulations, because that does slacken. Many people have left when they were just at that stage, and they never went beyond it. But once you start to get a real taste of this loving service, where you feel really transcendentally attached to the Lord, which you get from transcendentally attached persons. See, there are so many teachers and gurus who are not really transcendentally attached. They're just kind of officials. You know how you've seen them, like the popes? They're, been popes and people that are ministers and ecclesiastical. And that's another reason why we really need association with experienced devotees who you can see and get a perspective of what is actually a transcendental person. What are the qualities? Otherwise, nobody knows, and they just assume that just because a person is a man of the cloth, they got the cloth on, the orange or the robes, that, they're definitely representatives of the transcendental Lord. A lot of people don't even know that the Lord is transcendental. They don't never heard of that in religion. See, so that's our work here, is to teach. God is transcendental. He's spiritual, and these are the qualities. See, when you're in touch with the transcendental Lord, there's uncommon symptoms that manifest, these tears in the eyes. See, Uddhava was like that. You want to talk about the Lord a lot. You want to hear about the Lord a lot. You want to chant his name. That's symptoms of real love. It's like that. If you got any comments or questions, please put them in the chat, and we'll just use them for discussion. For a moment, he remained. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him. For a moment, he remained dead silent, and then his body did not move. See, being stunned is one of the symptoms. He became absorbed in the nectar of remembering the Lord's lotus feet. See, these are symptoms. Feet in devotional ecstasy. And he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy. See, these are the symptoms of a real devotee. Yeah. When they remember the Lord, sometimes they're stunned, and they just really deeply meditating on the transcendental Lord, and going increasingly deep. It's just all the same kind of symptoms. Anybody that has this awakening knows what I'm talking about, because you're now part of the actual devotional family of pure devotees who have a transcendental relationship with God. That's why you need real associates of the Lord to develop this relationship. It comes through them, and only really through them. Otherwise, you get some official, religious idea. You don't really know who Krishna is or the transcendental Lord is. You don't know. Because your associates don't know. Your guru doesn't know. They're just maybe in what they call the mode of goodness, and just are nice. Maybe they're good persons, doing good things, good deeds, doing regulative devotional service. But the transcendental taste is not awakened. That's our work here, is to teach about that, to awaken that in others, to teach the glories of this way of worship, just like Jesus started to do. He said, Lord's looking to be worshipped like this. And Lord Chaitanya also. So, Amy says, I like how you you were saying the ecstasy of the Lord can feel almost like anxiety. It's overwhelming, so you're not sure what this excitement is. Yeah, yeah, and actually, the anxiety is usually it has to. This is my experience of it. The anxiety is like the desire to to touch the transcendental body of the Lord more, just by, or to feel that closeness. And there's an anxiety. Sometimes chanting is like that for devotees. Where is God? Just really anxious. See, anxious to meet with the Lord. It's a transcendental symptom, actually, because it's not like you're anxious to meet with your husband or wife or child, which is material. It's a spiritual object inducing that. It was so observed by Vidura that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy. So, see, Vidura was an experienced devotee. He could relate. He could see, this person has the symptoms. This is very necessary to be taught now because people don't know about transcendental relationship with God. This is very new for most of the world. It's new for Vaishnavas, even though it's in the books. It's new for a lot of Christians. Even they sometimes see Christians in this ecstasy, but they don't know what to make of it. Many of them, they think it's some demon thing, some Kundalini. They call Kundalini thing, some East Indian thing from India. See? And the Vaishnava is all same thing. Many times, they'll see some of the devotees here in ecstasy, and they say, why are you crying? What are you crying? Why are you laughing like this? This is demoniac. Vaishnavas say that often. Yeah, ask Lalita. She gets it a lot. Everybody that's ecstatic and that's preaching it. Johan also probably gets it. Yeah. So, but that's it's so special. It's so wonderful. It's so liberating, because if these symptoms begin to manifest in your body, you're becoming part of the liberated devotees, liberated entourage of the Lord. It's very special, very amazing, very rare. But now, because we're preaching it, it becomes less rare. We have quite a few devotees who are experiencing transcendental symptoms of ecstasy. The great devotee Uddhava. See, the great devotee Uddhava. See, that's when greatness is achieved. Greatness is not, he's such a great devotee because he has so many followers. Oh, he's such a great devotee because he has a big title in front of his name. No, a person is a great devotee when they develop these symptoms that you see, that you were hearing about in the Bhagavatam here. See, that's a great devotee. They're not judged by the standard of how many followers you have. Jesus had actually, at the end of his when he was crucified, basically everybody abandoned him, but he was still a great devotee of the Lord. And later on, it came to pass. The world found out. And he was it was so observed by a Vidura that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes. See, bodily changes. See, your body changes from just being a normal look to these bodily changes, these horripulations of the hair standing on end, sometimes tears coming to the eyes, trembling, all these things. These are devotional symptoms. Now that's a great devotee. Those devotees that have those symptoms. But there are many leaders, and I only mention them because we got to help people make a distinction. Otherwise, they think what is not great is great. That's the whole problem with the world. They're teaching things that are dark to be light. Especially now, the demons are teaching that which is illogical to be logical, that which is demoniac to be good, that which is darkness to be light. So the same thing happens in religion. They have people teaching what is really not of the light as light, or that which is not the real deeper truth as truth. See, so these things, the right discernment has to be there. Okay? Otherwise, people will not know what is spiritual and what is transcendental. That's why sometimes you have to see a devotee in ecstasy, and then subjectively you get it. And sometimes you have to hear them explaining these things, like explaining it like the Bhagavatam is explaining it. Oh, I forgot. Okay, thank you. Good, thank you. Just at the right time, maybe even today, I'll call you. But if somehow I just forget, literally, I mean, then it's just because it's not time yet. It's just funny like that. This is the kind of life I live. Okay, so good. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. And remind me again after this class if I have, or actually, Janaki, remind me to call William. Okay? Yeah. All right. So Amy says, I can see how others see those symptoms as odd, but it's like you said this morning. That is what Lord Chaitanya was showing. How to chant with ecstatic devotion. Yeah. So why are these other Vaishnavas not understanding this type of devotional service? That's a very good question. Very, very, very good question. Why? Okay. So let's go back 500 years, 550 years ago. The devotees back then had read in the scriptures too, when Lord Chaitanya was here, that there's these symptoms of devotion. They're in the scriptures, and Lord Chaitanya manifested them when he was in Navadvip. Some accepted them, but some didn't. Some were very envious and jealous of the devotees who had those symptoms, and they would give them a hard time. Now, why is that? Same thing with Krishna. When Krishna's here doing amazing things, it didn't matter. People that were not allowed to see it, even though they saw it, they didn't see. See, this is how Yoga Maya hides the devotees. See, they're hidden, even though it's in our scriptures, even though they see it. And what is causing that it's a blindness, actually. What's causing the blindness is the false ego. It will not allow you to accept what is true is true, because it just will blind you to that. And because what comes up is the blindness of false prestige. See, it's false. You're trying to think oh no, I'm actually better than that person. See? Or competition. Ooh, I'm better and I want to compete with that person. That causes blindness. Okay? Or envy. Envy, blind. Even though you see it and you read it in the scriptures, you'll justify it away and say, I've seen this so many times. Oh, that's something, that's something different. Or, oh, you're just imitating. Say like this. See, so that's what happens. It's a kind of a blindness. Yeah, but somebody who are allowed to recognize, they don't have that false ego that's in the way. And therefore they can begin to learn. See, they're open. There's room for it. Yeah. Trippy, huh? So that's how. Yeah. There's something else. A point I wanted to make about that. Oh yeah, it's simple. It's similar. Now, a good way to look at it you can look at it another level. You ever heard this thing called the Stockholm Syndrome? Stockholm Syndrome. Okay, there's a conditioning there's a conditioning that you can get in this world where you're tortured. And that's right now, just to put things a little relevant, right now, the masses are in Stockholm syndrome, many of them. I mean, anybody, I won't get too much into this. There's a Stockholm syndrome going on. And when you analyze what it is, so basically when you're tortured and people have been, see, they don't believe it, but they're being tortured by being locked down and one crisis after another, and all this fear and all that stuff is torture, actually. And they're going through it and accepting it. There's actually this torture chart. You can find this is the type of torture. Putting the mask on, they do that to people they're torturing. Yeah, or initiating in the when they're going to sacrifice somebody for these dark rites of Lucifer worship, they mask them. So all this is going on. And so those who are tortured and actually accepting this, like accepting it and believing in it, they develop a belief in those who are torturing them. That's why these guys are coming. Why aren't you taking this? Why aren't you? Don't you know? And see, those who are not under the whammy of that torture, they say, hey, what are you doing? That's not even logical. It's not it's not clear. You're doing something. This is an experimental thing. Can't you analyze? Why are you allowing yourself to be a lab rat? And the person who, even though it's more logical to approach this thing has not been tested, for a long time, usually 5-10 years, these things, and you're just going for it. Yeah, of course, and they can't analyze. They can't critically think. See? Because they believe in their torturers. They say it's okay. I just believe it. They don't think for themselves. Why do they do that? And others who don't. See? Well, some people they're blinded by the torture. See, the mind is like that. It's very malleable. So that goes on the spiritual platform too. In the spiritual platform, even though like all I'm doing is teaching what's in the scriptures and showing what's in the scriptures by the Lord's help, of course, it's manifesting, and people, even though they see, they don't see. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that's that. Okay. So, and he was trying to wipe away tears of separation from his eyes. See, tears of separation, that's what you see. This laughing and crying when you chant the holy names is a manifestation of Vrindavan worship and bhav and consciousness. See, so that you see in our Sangha, which is actually a proof that this is bona fide, that this is real. But people, if they have envy, jealousy, and them blinded because of that, they won't recognize, they won't accept. But anyway, that's the Lord. He reserved, the God, Krishna reserves the right to cover his spiritual dealings here in this world. And our Sangha is that. But those he wants to uncover their eyes so they can see what's really going on here, and we prove it in so many ways, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, they can take advantage. You see, you're very fortunate to be able to see these things, and whoever else is appreciating what we're doing. This is Krishna, God's mercy, Radha and Krishna's mercy. Otherwise, we're very hidden here. You don't see. Can you imagine? God is actually working here in a very powerful way, in a very deep way, in a very rare way. And you would think there are millions of Vaishnavas, but where are the millions? See, millions are still doing the preliminary worship, still believing in leaders who are on different levels of this devotional service. Okay? So when you look at our books, you can see you could do devotional service in the mode of ignorance. You could do devotional service, perform devotional service in the mode of passion. This is a Kapila Dev's teaching. You can perform devotional service in the mode of goodness, and you can perform devotional service in the mode of pure goodness. See, that's this level. That's why most people can't see it. They're doing devotional service in a different mode, and they can't understand this rare mode of worship. This is all in Bhagavatam. You can go look under, I think it's the third canto, I don't know what chapter is, maybe on devotional service. Yeah, devotional service. Kapila Dev's teaching. Yeah, you can check it out. So, thus, Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for Lord Krishna. See? So, if you look at, the book Bhagavat is explaining a person that was living many thousands of years ago, and he saw a real devotee, and he could tell how much depth of devotion that Vidura had. You could use the same standard here, and you can tell how deep some devotees are in their worship. Yeah, by this gold standard. This is the gold standard. So I love preaching the gold standard. It's a great, the highest standard, deep standard, Bhagavatam standard. Most gurus don't even understand what any of this. With big titles in front of their name, they don't understand. They're not experienced devotees. Unless you have an awakening of this pure love of God in your heart, you don't know. See, when this awakening of love of God awakens in your heart and it matures, you become a devotee Bhagavat. There are two types of Bhagavats. One is the book Bhagavat, see? It's all about the bygone devotees. And the other is the devotee Bhagavat. See, and so they work together. So the devotee Bhagavat explains the book Bhagavat to take away the ignorance, to show the symptoms of what the bygone devotees like Vidura and Uddhava were sharing thousands of years ago, and bring it up to date, up to speed. And then you see also, and then you learn this devotional science. Personally, I've never seen anybody teach like this. This is special mercy of the Lord to allow it, actually. This is the most confidential teachings you can find in this whole universe, actually, what we're teaching here. It's the secret of all secrets. I want some liquid gold. Yeah. So sometimes devotees, like right now, I'm kind of in the external state, but it doesn't mean it's not. It's kind of like St. Paul said. Sometimes we're out of our mind for God, see, in the Holy Spirit, and sometimes we're in our right mind for you. This is for preaching these things. It's important. Both times, both kinds. So the great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane, and wiping his eyes, he awakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood. We talked about this morning. See, he went in to touch the lotus feet, Lord, and became enlivened by that, and then came back and brought this forth, speaking in like normal consciousness, so that to Vidura. I think I'm going to stop now. I'm ready. I'm going to eat something here. I'm hungry. It's also, it's already like 3:00. Yeah, I'm going to eat something. I will stop here and return a little bit later, maybe today, maybe in the morning. Let's see. Well, for sure in the morning, but maybe later today after I eat or something. Okay. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you very much for coming here.